most underrated podcast in the world. And we're a little bit early today because Mike has to go play another sport at an ungodly hour.
Why are you referring it to another sport? You're afraid to say its name?
He's playing hockey like a good old Canadian boy at 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's just so wrong.
Outrageous, but that means there's teams in the league, so that's...
Yeah, I mean, that's a bonus, but I mean, can they not like cut it at 10? 10 o'clock start latest? I guess
there's 11 teams or 10 teams, so
sometimes you gotta buy.
It's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 slots, I believe.
That's brutal. That is brutal. It's the changing too. It's like as we were talking earlier, like 11 o'clock starts for soccer is bad enough, but you can just get the hell out of there. Like you have to like put on like armor.
It'll be fine.
Okay. Let's. Today we're gonna open up with just a quick recap of the UEFA Nations or the international break, and then we're gonna hop right into Serie A for Roma Inter preview, and then we're gonna close with two huge matches in the Prem: North London derby and Manchester derby.
Wow, what a way to come back from soccer, right?
Well, hell, man, United haven't played a Prem match in a month. In a month. Canada first. They looked all right. Like both matches, they probably should have like 4 or 5 against Qatar.
Yeah, we got them early and just I kind of liked it because it was kind of like, let's learn how to play with the lead and actually defend, just in case we get there in the World Cup, and that's what is needed to win, right?
Sure.
But capitalizing on a lot of those breaks is what's needed to actually put a game away. And I was very pleased with the first performance, and not as pleased with the second, but it was still a good effort. And we did. I feel as though like we were in the game. Like we were more than in the game, and I'm kind of in a way happy we lost it because it's like we go into the World Cup knowing that there's still stuff to improve, and it can only get better. If we beat them, it would have been a good boost for the first game, especially against Belgium. But you don't want to go in too high. You want to go in, just having a good first match and building from there.
That's fair, but I mean honestly, like I thought I forgot it was on at noon. I was 1 o'clock in, so I missed the first half. And just based on the stats in the first half, like it looked from the highlights I saw, I missed both goals when I was seeing the highlights. They were showing like a lot of mistakes that Canada was making, and Uruguay, countering on them like that. But from the second half, from what I saw, they looked really good. Like Kone came on the 55th, player that we've mentioned before. And Montreal almost made a move to Sheffield at the end of the window, at the end of August. But now I think after, especially a performance like that and maintaining what he's been doing at Montreal, I think in January after World Cup, like he's 100% going to move.
You just wanted consistent playing time before?
I don't know why that move collapsed. I don't know if that was necessarily on him. You could have taken that out. Yeah. Unreal. But no, they played like they were putting lots of balls in, like good balls into the box as well. Corners, I think they was it 7-0? I don't think they actually conceded a corner in that match. Maybe 7-3.
Yeah, it was high to low.
It was 7-0 or 7-3. I have both those numbers in mind.
More possession.
Lots more possession. And it's not like they were doing nothing with it either. Uruguay are a very defensive and counterattacking team, but I mean, honestly, like if they're approaching Canada like that, like it's
not too good for them.
I don't think so.
They had 2 shots on goal, 2 goals. I believe we had 9 or 10 shot attempts, but only like 2 or 3 on goal. So maybe if we can, be more clinical, because we're gonna have to be honest, to get out of the group. We're gonna have to score. We're not gonna be a team that's holding on 1-0 wins, 0-0. We're gonna have to. Our strength is scoring, and teams underestimate us and take us lightly, and we gotta especially like
hitting on the break. That's when it's kind of like how I'm thinking about when Canada really started showing what they were capable of within the CONCACAF. During the Gold Cup and qualifying, right? Qualifying especially. They especially like that first game in the States when they drew 0-0. It was like a lot of big counters. Mexico as well.
It was 1-1, wasn't it?
I think it was 0-0 in the States and 1-1 in Mexico.
It was 1-1 both.
1-1 both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pardon me. But they were given the onus to counter and like break really well. I think that's almost going to kind of revert in the World Cup with better opponents as well. So hopefully they can.
Yeah, looking good though. Looks promising.
I did. Yeah, I have slight hope of making it. That's all I wanted. Yeah. Now on to Europe and the UEFA Nations League. Now I know since its inception, both of us have like really slated the Nations League for being glorified friendlies and just taking to like it's just an extra game for the prime talent. But it's happening. It is happening. And I was thinking. So Dave mentioned to me. I haven't looked into this. I'm already very put off by the 48-team World Cup in 2026. Not about it at all. And that's what is going to be going forward, unless people are like, no, fuck this shit. But Dave mentioned that the Euros looking at 32 teams. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't. But
that's someone else mentioned to me today.
What's the point of having the Nations League if you're going to do that? Well, if you didn't have the Nations League and you did this, it would still be pushback, but it wouldn't be as much pushback. Now they're doing the Nations League and this. It's like, how many games for TV do you want? Like, how many TV deals do you need? Like, are you not making enough money?
No, well, exactly. Exactly. It's very much akin to like Todd Bowley saying like we should make an all-star game so we can use that money to use for parachute payments for the lower teams in the pyramid. It's like you guys have so much money. Like you guys can help the pyramid, the lower teams, the lower leagues.
As we stand right now, and still be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's what I'm gonna say, Mike, and this is gonna throw you. But I was thinking about it. I'm not keen on this 40-team World Cup. 32-team Euro is insane. Like 24 is fine. Is enough. Like I was even like huge on it, but 24 is okay. All right, 24. You bolster the groups a little bit more. Add an extra round in the knockout. But if this ends up being, if this passes, I honestly, because the Nations League, it has the best teams. It has everyone in groups that they can play.
You're going to put the Nations League over the Euro
and the World Cup,
and the World Cup.
Honestly, like 48 teams in the World Cup is just laughable to me. I'm so perturbed by it. But like the Nations League, everyone's boxed together. It's a relegation, and at the top there's a tournament, right? There's a tournament for the best. And they'll play each other twice, and you see good groups. You see teams that can hang with each other, and you see good quality play, and it still brings the best players. If nations didn't feel pressured to bring those players as much, or kind of experiment a little bit more, I would be more fine with that because that would give those players a rest. But since they're not, that honestly, it's becoming more and more appealing to me.
No, but it would be every 2 years, and it loses its pizzazz. You would have to win 2 of those to equal like 1 Euro.
I would agree.
Maybe. Like,
I agree. Maybe. Exactly. I agreed. But you know what? I'm gonna be not yet, but I am inching towards being a small minority of people who are gonna prefer this over these other tournaments, man. Like they just really rub me the wrong way now. It's just like
it's for the money.
I know,
it's for the money, and it's like you're losing an extra game in the group stage with the 48-team World Cup already.
Did they change that?
I thought it was going to be
3 teams.
16, yeah.
I feel like I need to look at this because I feel like they might have actually changed
that was back like the first plan
to 4. Yeah, but like I think they might have been pushed back and they've changed it back to 4. I'll have to look into that.
Then it would be what, 12 groups of 4, and then 4 third place teams get out.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
I'd take that over the 3.
Yeah, because then it's only 1, 2, and if you have 2 bad games, you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I would, but I'd take neither.
Yeah, well, we're screwed. We just can't watch. Honestly, like that. It's like people are really upset with Qatar getting the World Cup. I mean, as are we, and what's gone into how this World Cup's come about. But you remove that, and like I'm very much more invested in this than even 2026, which is going to partly be hosted in Canada.
Yeah.
And 40 teams just really sucks life out of me. But now, quick review. Let's just open up with England. Southgate, back at it again. Now everyone's against him.
It's he didn't have to do this. So like the way he did it, I get it. But he's kind of like creating a divide in not the locker room, but in the team kind of, because he's like no matter what the other players, I would say players 15 through 23 who make the squad eventually, which is pretty much we can assume is the squad he picked just now. Maybe plus or minus one or two people barring injury or they probably feel as though they're never going to play.
Yeah.
There might not be a moment because he has his guys.
Yeah.
He has his guys. He has his subs. And it doesn't look like he's budging for that.
Light midfield. Arnold not even named in the team. I don't think, and Tomori was also not named in the team. Shocking. Imagine even if he sets up in his ridiculous 3-5-2 with the team that he has, or the players he has available, that pushes. You take a Maguire for Tomori and pushes your lineup so much more.
I know, and it didn't help that Maguire had an awful game or games.
2, yeah.
And it showed that when you don't play club soccer regularly, you lose, right? So you should always be hungry. I get, this would have been a great chance to silence the critics, but you're only putting more pressure on yourself by doing this, right? And
his mentality is weak.
I think you're right. I think this is his last tournament.
Yeah.
Even though he just signed the extension.
The thing is, though, is that both these tournaments they've been in, they've had easy walks. And yet again, they do have a chance to gain momentum. And, they're not going to win. But possibly make a surprise run to the semis. For me, it was always going to be a surprise run if they were to do something like that. But the group's very easy. And if they win that group, which they should, they would play second place out of Qatar, the Netherlands, Senegal, and Ecuador. So most likely not being the Dutch. Yeah. That's a nice way to get to the quarters, and you've got some momentum going.
And then anything can happen.
Exactly.
I don't think it's going to happen either, but maybe the players they would have the players would actually have to be outplaying what they're capable of, or what we're expected to in this type of sit back, not use our talent. And
I think they would have to almost kind of dismiss as much as possible Southgate's tactics, as much as they could. And they would honestly, I think, have to go on the field and just not listen to him and see what happens.
Yeah. Well,
that's for managing themselves.
You might get pulled off the field, but
I don't think he has the stones to do that, and he certainly doesn't have enough subs to do it.
So, he does have the subs, but you're not using the subs.
Man, it's
brutal. I was, when they were up 3-2, I was like, I can't believe they're going to win this game, and the story's going to be different. It's we relegated, but we played better when we relegated. We didn't put our heads down. We came together and wanted to have one good show off at home before the World Cup.
That would have been such a blindfold. And people and English fans, people who pay attention to the sport, know the sport, know that had nothing to do with Southgate. It had everything to do with the fact that what I say is it literally reminded me carbon copy of United against Sheffield, Sheffield's first season, when we were getting pummeled down 2-0 at halftime. Phil Jones got bodied off the ball. I think for the second goal, maybe it was the first, and then we, always just basically go out. Yes, and so United took the lead 3-2, bang 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 bang, and from the 70th to the 80th, it was basically just go out and you guys have more talent, just go do something, and then United blew it at the end as well. It was a carbon copy, and it's a like for like manager.
And if if they come out of the gate playing like that, they would be good, right? Just let's try and get it on the front foot, right? Mm-hmm. The best defense is an attack. Let's go up early, and then we can revert to your tactics, and counters will be easier.
But not just go up by one. You saw them get burned by that against Italy in the final.
They get to keep going.
Yeah. It's not okay, fine. You actually keep pressing the other team at least until the 70th within a 1-goal match.
You're gonna have to score goals to win the World Cup, right?
Honestly, under 10 goals in that whole group.
You're not Spain 2010, where I think they won every game 1-0, right? In the knockout stage.
Germany, the Dutch. I forget how else they played. Probably.
I think in the quarters they won 2-1. Actually, now I think about it, isn't that they were facing? What did
I forget. I don't know.
Who did Ruckus and Cruz play for? They beat that nation, South America. Anyways, because I think he missed the penalty and then they went down and scored. But it might have been 1-0. Either way, they're not the defensive stout that even that was Spain was possession of the ball. So they had the
Yes.
ball for 80%. So that's why winning 1-0 isn't that bad, because you're not going to get scored on if you have the ball. They're not a possession-based team like that, but I don't know. It's rough. It's rough. I think they definitely went down. And did they go down in favorites for World Cup after that weekend? Because
They were never favorites.
I know. I mean, like,
They
were
were their odds?
Did
They were second, yeah.
They were second.
They might still be second. I'm not sure, actually. I am not sure. I didn't check.
And it's better for them. Well, not better, but it wasn't like they just narrowly missed out on winning the group and going to the semis. It was just like they were nowhere close, and they were easily the last, like the worst team in that group of death.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty dire, and it's just like it's. People say it's too late. I've heard a couple
It's
people.
too late
To
fire him.
Man,
it's too late.
Is it too late bringing Tuchel?
It's too late. Tuchel, I think you go international. I think
Tuchel on a dime. Just like you did with Chelsea. A little less time, obviously.
Yes.
There'd be no matches. No, you can't do it. You can't.
I don't think he's ready for international.
You can't.
He's
a tournament style. He's a tournament coach.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Mourinho will get the England job.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
He would be a hero.
But
if he won a World Cup for them,
again,
he
it's
would
like
be a
that
hero.
is Southgate style. It's like it's the gloss. It's the informed tactical version of Southgate. It's defensive again. So it's like, you know what? That means these players need to fucking knuckle down again and know that they're going to be playing basically how they did.
With Mourinho?
Yeah.
No, you see what Mourinho did with Real? I know he didn't win a Champions League, but they were good. You had Di Maria, Ozil, Benzema, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
They're all playing attacking and counter-attacking, like boom, boom, boom. They had some of the nicest goals during the Mourinho era.
Okay. Well,
like when he has talent around him that can actually execute, because club level,
again,
you're gonna have like 3 or 4 players.
Again, that's what I'm saying. It is counter-attacking. Like,
yeah, but he would have 11. He would use certain players for certain games, and he would make the most out of that. Like Southgate just can play the same guys.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. There's no tinkering. There's no adjustments. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a waistcoat. But yeah.
Sticking in that group, Germany. What are your thoughts about Germany?
Well, you know what? It's a little disappointing because like that team just isn't quite all there yet. Like
they need a central forward, eh? They need a central.
They do.
Like they had Klose before.
They do.
Like even last World Cup without those first World Cup in a while without Klose. Werner, like he's good, but he's just not like the main man target. Like play off of.
Could have been a few years ago, but yeah, it's just. Yeah, it's. I think it's too much for them.
I think that's what they're missing, honestly.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
I don't know how they could adapt.
I like a couple of their center backs. Like if they're healthy, like there's center backs there that I'd be happy with, like Rudiger and Schlotterbeck. Who actually gave it the penalty, crushed the penalty in there. But he's just really kind of getting accustomed to that team. And when Flick came on, like they got up to like a decent start, but they've had some bad results. For sure, and they weren't great in that group whatsoever.
No, they came third, right?
They did come third, and deservedly so. I was never looking at this tournament for Germany to really like contend. Maybe about 6 months ago, I was thinking to myself, when Flick had come in, I was thinking to myself, maybe they can actually
get the ball rolling again.
Get it rolling, maybe make a surprise run to like the semis kind of thing. And which wouldn't be like I was going to say, which wouldn't be like too much of a surprise. Right now,
yes. That's
like the best you're hoping for. Yeah. And so that's where I'm at with them. I don't think they're going to be able. I don't think they're going to top that group against
They need
Spain.
Changing of the guard.
How so?
Players. New generation.
Who do they have as a striker like coming up that's young? I honestly can't think of anyone. There's Masoko, right?
Yeah.
But he's still way too young. I honestly can't think of anyone out there. I really can't.
Well, they have to.
I can't. And that's a problem for them.
Just all the players, all midfielders. They're playing Musiala like that.
Also, great,
how old is Hoffman?
Ooh, Hoffman's up there.
Yeah, he's up there. Right?
He's at least 25. Hoffman's at least 25, at least. But yeah, anyway. And then with Portugal, there's just been so much unrest there for a while
They
now.
need a new coach. They do.
Against
Some
Against
I
too late.
know some of the subs he made. John Mario was the first sub he used.
Right. I know.
And I saw them like, really?
Yeah, we got Leo sitting right there.
Really?
He brought Leo on. He brought Leo on after they conceded.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. It was
the hell? What are you doing?
And then Felix was the 90th too. So
yeah, I know. I saw that too. I was like, oh my goodness, I thought he was injured.
He's sticking to his guns, right? It worked for Euros. It's the new generation coming in. Like,
man.
Like, I don't know.
It's a good-looking team.
I know.
I love them going into the Euros. They shat the bed, and now it looks like they're
gonna do it again.
They're gonna do it again.
You think they would have been better winning that, going to the semis, going to that tournament, or losing and having extra motivation?
It might convince Santos to,
change.
Well, yeah, you can't
not change, but like tinker.
Like Mario. Like, come on, like for me, Leo's got to be starting. Like he's got to go on. Honestly, with that team, especially
current form,
yes, current form.
Yeah.
It has to, but you should
pull the Southgate kind of still put Jota.
Yeah,
he's coming back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's played well in the first game against Switzerland, but I would have eased him in. Leo's in the form of his life, right? And he played well. He started in the Switzerland game, and they won 4-0. And
yeah, he had 2 assists.
Yeah,
or a goal and assist.
The good thing for them is they could still change it around. There's still enough quality players to get results even when they're not playing well. But
I wouldn't sleep on them. Like I still think that's a team that can make a deep run.
Yeah, I think semifinals is. I think where I draw the line with them.
For me, it can't happen because if they both win their group or they both finish second in their group, Argentina and Brazil cannot both reach the finals, and I personally like both those teams.
So you want that? You want that to be the final?
No, I don't. No, I absolutely do not. I guess I have Brazil to win it. So if Germany's not winning it, then yeah, Brazil. Yeah. Anyway, anything else? Catch your attention, France. A lot of egos in that room. I think again, Deschamps. There's been so much, like almost, I would say, like just basically 2 years after they won the World Cup, there was, Zidane coming in, like Deschamps will be gone, like soon enough.
So that's been hanging over him.
Deschamps, I feel like could do a lot more with that team.
Won a World Cup.
He did.
Finals to a Euro.
And they look good then. They look obviously very good in that tournament. But like since then, they've played a lot more defensively than I think they necessarily have to.
Is he going to go back and stick to his 11 or change it up a bit?
Like what? Which 11?
Is Griezmann going to start? Because he shouldn't be starting, in my opinion.
I agree, but you know what? They are light in the number 10 role. And so for me, switch to a 4-3-3 and kind of eliminate the importance of the number 10.
And put Benzema there.
What? Where?
In like the top. And
man, Giroud's a boss for
them. They win when he starts.
So what, Giroud? Yeah, I know. I love when Giroud's when Giroud plays for them. I do. I would honestly use. And this is strictly for France. Like, I'm putting Giroud and Benzema in the same sentence, same breath. But I would honestly start Giroud. I would see at the beginning of the tournament starting him. But in a 4-3-3, yeah, and this use him, but like give him like half an hour. Like you're giving like half an hour.
You need a lot of.
Yeah.
If you were manager of France,
sometimes
you would be.
Hey man, well,
slaughtered in the papers that they lost.
Where was Benzema before the World Cup? He was not there. He was on that team.
So he's worse. He makes the team worse. Starter.
Actually, he did play well enough in the Euros. Like, don't get me wrong, but like I would still see what Giroud does there. Like, is the cohesion there with Giroud? And you said it, man. I think they get results. Giroud,
it's the cohesion with Mbappe. That's the problem.
Well,
his ego is gonna blow up this World Cup. Did you hear that he wasn't taking pictures with the France team because of his image rights?
Is that under PSG?
I think he's
PSG?
maybe with the
Or Jordan?
Nike. I think it's Jordan, but
He can take photos at all with France?
unless he didn't pay, and he wasn't getting paid, so he wasn't in any of the photos. Like
Oh
the team
my
photos.
goodness! Oh, unless he
Yeah.
was getting paid.
Yeah, I think so. It was something stupid like
Seriously?
that. Yeah,
You gotta find me
he's
that.
a diva.
You gotta find me that.
Diva right now.
Happened.
So that could blow up.
You gotta find me that. You don't find it right now, but we'll move on from that. Please send it to me. That's if you find that, send it to me. I really hope it's not the case. That's just unforgivable. Wow. Wow. But I would honestly seriously, because like who fits in that number 10 role? If you're playing 4-2-3-1, who's in that number 10 role for them? Nkuku? Because he's better off the wing. He's not. He's by no stretch of
I don't think he'll make the starting 11.
Well,
if
you switch to a 4-3-3, he should, and you put Mbappe on the right and Nkuku on the left.
Over Dembele?
Ooh.
You forget about Dembele?
Ooh. He'll probably get injured by then. I think
wow, this guy, man, please, man, he's playing so well. Don't say that, man. Please don't say that.
I think he did get injured. He did.
Oh, man.
He did get injured though. I don't know how bad it is, but he did. I'm serious.
Dembele should be starting. Let's be real.
That's fine. I'm not. I have no problem. Nkuku does not have to start for me. I'm just saying.
Is Cameron gonna start?
There's
no, right?
I would.
Tchouaméni?
I would start both of them.
I think Tchouaméni for sure, and then
I would start both of them. In a 4-3-3, who would go in? Because was Conte going to be back? I think so.
Yeah. So just them two and Conte.
See if it's Conte, Tchouaméni, or
Pogba's healthy. He might be in there too.
Sorry,
Pogba. Or is he too far gone with
Pogba can't. Pogba
he might if Griezmann starts. Why can't Pogba?
Because he won't have been playing at all. Once he's set to be back.
End of October.
Yeah, for me. That's not enough to
3 weeks.
Slot him into starting. I wouldn't.
You never know.
I would not.
Do you think what's their potential?
Listen, Mike. This is what we're gonna do. Okay. Starting next week, we're gonna start going like group by group.
Okay. All
right. We're doing previews group by group, or we'll discuss it and maybe like do based on potential like we'll do like a for the shitty teams, Canada, Morocco, all right, Saudi Arabia, whatever. We'll figure it out. But we're gonna start doing previews.
World Cup.
Yes, start next week. Okay, Roma Inter. Let's bang these out, boy. And I just want to take a look at some injuries here. Brozovic suspended.
I think he got injured on international duty.
He did. But it's just funny. It's looking at him. It's like Brozovic injured. Brozovic suspended. That's about it. And obviously Wijnaldum's out. Karsdorp's out.
Yeah, but I don't think this. Yeah, I think at the end of last season he was a Marino's boy. He was always starting, but this season's different, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So not much missing here. Honestly, I like what Roma's doing this year.
I do too.
I'm a big fan.
This is a bigger game for Roma than I think it is for Inter. Although Inter has been, I know it's big for them because this could be the season, but for Roma to really hit the heights that people think and can push for top 4 and even top 3, they need to win this game.
Well, they need a title. I mean, I think
yes, they need a title, but I think like a top 3 finish is like the goal for this year.
Absolutely, but this. Well, but to me, like they lose this match and top 4 is certainly not
it's not
a sight. It's not the door by any stretch.
But I think it's like a game like this sets the tone for the rest of the season, how you play, right? Because
how you believe in yourselves.
Yeah, because it's like, oh man, in the big games we still can't do it. You know what I mean? If we win this big game, it's like this year's different.
Yeah, I mean they did just lose Atalanta as well, right? So that's the thing, man. Udinese smashed both of them. Yeah. What is who is that?
They're gonna smash us next. Don't worry.
You playing this weekend?
No. Oh. But it's soon. Whenever we do, it's coming.
I would have been so scared.
It's coming. Allegri has 5 games apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they give him 5 games. That's what I heard.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Ooh, juicy.
Hope he goes 1-3-1. Then he's out.
And you collect 6 points.
Yeah.
Collect 6 points and get the fuck out the door. Well, honestly, Mike, I'm really kind of vibing with Roma right now. And I don't think they have to win here. I think it's gonna be a draw.
Really?
I'm going 1-1.
I'm
Mourinho, something always sticks in my mind with him is that he checks, he goes through the schedule and it's like he marks games as like we don't a tie is fine. And on the road to Inter, and he said this. He said this. And on the road to Inter, is a more than good enough
fair
result.
result.
It's more than good enough. Well,
You know, they
fair.
don't gain on you, you don't gain on them, and you keep your 4 points up on them.
1.
Inter has 13.
Roma has 13. Inter has 12.
They have 3 losses. I keep forgetting into it. Jeez, I thought it was like 14. Juve has 10, right?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. I thought we were closer to them.
So
I thought we were closer to them.
Abraham, great form.
I'm seeing 2-1 Roma win.
You are.
Yeah, I'm going for my boy. Roma.
I
mean Mourinho, not
yes.
Dybala.
No, of course.
Although
of course.
I have a Dybala jersey.
Yeah.
Suck up your pride and stay next time.
For less money. Yeah. I'm going to 1-1.
2-1 Roma.
Okay. Okay. Actually, we gotta start taking these scores down.
And you know, I still gotta wish Roma.
List. Okay. Let's go into North London Derby. That was very brief. And I want to go over injuries every time just to refresh. I know. I mean, Suarez is definitely out. No, it's not lost really at all. But Zinchenko, Cedric.
I completely forgot about him for a sec.
Fair enough. Sorry, one second.
Zinchenko's back.
Inter.
Zinchenko's back.
Roma. He's definitely back.
I think so.
I
know he didn't play with Ukraine.
I heard it was questionable. I heard it was question. I was reading something today. It was questionable.
Mind games.
Fair enough. Partey, questionable.
Yeah, he's been out for a while though.
Who else is a third? Hold on. Oh my! Come on, take us away.
I know. Gabriel Jesus is 1 yellow away from suspension, and I think they face City soon, don't they too? But I don't know. With this, it's a tough game. Like obviously, every North London derby, it's good for the banter between the two rival clubs. But with both of them being at the top of the table and exceeding expectation at the moment, it's like I really don't want to go with this game.
I know. Is this? I saw a byline. I thought it was a very good question. Is this the highest quality North London derby in the Premier League era?
Highest quality.
Yeah.
That's the main words.
I think it's a very good question.
Because even when Arsenal was a great,
Spurs were trash.
Yeah.
So I
think it might be.
I think it was a really good question. Like it's really interesting.
Like maybe when like Ericsson was still there, Dele Alli, but Arsenal wasn't as good as they are now.
Arsenal fallen off, and it's like
they were still coming 3rd and 4th. Arsenal at that point.
They were, but they felt a little dead, didn't they?
Yeah.
Now I guess there's some vibrancy, lots of vibrancy in both clubs. Like if you're obviously, you're right there in the title race, but why shouldn't any of these fan bases not think that they have an outside shot of winning the league?
Well, and before Leicester, obviously, but now with Leicester, they absolutely should.
No, well, no. I don't agree with that.
No, I'm not saying they're comparing to Leicester, but if Leicester did it when no one else thought, like they have a shot.
That's where I'm disagreeing with you, though, because the Premier League that season was garbage.
It's still the Premier League.
It was great for Leicester, but to me it's a different argument.
You're diminishing Leicester's title.
To me, it's a different argument. Everyone else was really bad, and Leicester did something miraculous, and they stepped up their game. Now it's like these two are stepping up their game to catch. But it's just like letting City fall off. That's all.
City's too powerful, pretty much.
I would agree.
Before City was City.
Lloris might be up for this. I'm seeing doubtful. What's going on? I didn't know this. I know he didn't play for France, but
what is it? What's his injury? I would assume he's playing. I feel as though I would have heard of it by now. That
like proper, I think it's like a very speculative injury, but
no, he's definitely gonna play. I think this. It's always hard to say in these games, but in my opinion, I think this is whoever scores first wins game. Depending, I know it's
to me, then you're calling a clean sheet for the winning team.
No, I think there's going to be goals.
But you think
I think one team's going to hit first and hit hard, and the other team's going to hit back, but not be enough.
So you're thinking that team, so whoever scores first is going to go up 2-0?
Maybe like 1-1, and then they'll score again. But I think
to me that's a momentum shift though. That's
it's one of those games. It's one of those games. I think it's going to be high scoring though. I'm going 3-2 Spurs. I'm taking Spurs.
I like Spurs too.
They have the better manager for this type of game.
That's what it is. I'm not knocking Arteta by any stretch, but I think we've seen for many years, and a few different clubs what Conte can do in the league.
He's been there, done it before.
Yeah, and it's like the stakes have just been kind of gradually getting raised. I mean, they, at the end of last season, when Spurs had to win, it was
3-0.
It was 3-0, but it was an early double yellow by. Who took that double yellow? It was really bad. Oh, it was Holding. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But they were already kind of on them too at that point, and I think there's a hunger as well. I'm not knocking Arsenal by any stretch, but what I'm saying is like Arsenal. They're coming together. Like they are just gelling really now and the last season with their new additions. But it's like, okay, we can really just be up at the top for a while now, right? But with Spurs, it's like there's so many players there, so many huge players, and namely, of course, Son and Kane, and I guess the likes of Lloris, that have underachieved in all this time with all this potential success. It's like, could this be the year that you win something? And now you have the manager that's actually going to drive home and elevate that mentality.
They had the manager before Mourinho.
Mourinho was on. He was slipping. You knew he was slipping. I never liked that appointment. Mike, he was slipping. It wasn't the same. It was never the same. It was never the same. He was never going to lift those players the way Conte has been. And I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
2-1.
Yeah. Yes.
Clean Spurs sweep, eh? The Arsenal fans listening aren't going to be happy. That's them doubting us again. Sorry, we'll prove them wrong.
They all stopped listening. They all stopped listening a long time ago.
They're too busy singing their chants before the game. This is going to be
Arsenal at home too. Arsenal at home too, and still, yeah, it's a big match. It's Saturday, right?
Yeah,
7:30.
I know.
That's okay. All right, well, actually, I think
the police, right?
Yeah, no. That's why the Manchester derby, which we'll close with now, is also at 9 a.m. on Sunday. So what, 3 o'clock for them? 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Is there any hope for United? City at home. Is there any hope for United?
There's hope. There's hope. Mm-hmm. They've beaten 2 big teams already.
They sure have.
One big team. Liverpool might not be a big team this year.
Relax.
No, but they played well on both. Obviously both they were at home, on the road for this one.
Yep.
And City's they found something with Haaland, eh?
Well, it was the missing piece for a team that wasn't really. I mean, it's a big jewel to add, but
it's the right piece. It was the last piece they just needed.
It's the crown. It was the crown. The crown and jewel.
It's hard to bet against them. It's very hard to bet at. Like, I think it will be a good game. I think it'll be closer than people think, but I think like.
What do people think? What are people saying?
I would say like 3-1 City. That's what I think. Like the score, the general population score line will be. Just like you just can't stop City right now, and
I don't know, man. Okay, so what can United do to get something from this match? I'll take a draw.
What can they do to get a draw?
Well, no, or win, whatever. Like you get a result. What can you do not lose?
I think you don't panic, and because you're playing City, the better team, you just get on your heels. I think you got to trust Ten Hag, and play the football he wants.
Well, yeah, and they will.
Be confident and be confident.
They will, though.
And like don't just because like
players have stepped up though.
They have
and like players that were like done last year, like McTominay's looked better.
Is he starting this match?
Yes. Yeah. He has to. But
no Fred.
But for me, one way to approach this game, I think this is. I would honestly in this match, I would start Casemiro and McTominay and put Ericsson in the 10.
Where's
And
Fernandez on the wing?
On the bench.
So who's the captain?
Varane.
Who's the De Gea?
Why not Varane? Why is
Give
that?
him the captaincy armband?
Why not? I mean, he's been Varane has been such an integral part to this turnaround. You've seen, he didn't start in the 2 matches we got dismantled. Well, we especially got dismantled by Brentford. And then him and Martinez, Ten Hag knew and understood after that Brentford match that they would have to start and build from the back. And we haven't been blowing teams out by any stretch. We're like 1-0, scored 3 times against Arsenal. That was like on the break because Ten Hag kind of played.
Fernandez was responsible for one of those balls.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. But I think Ericsson's retention of the ball generally, and like Fernandez will play a Hollywood pass, right? And sometimes they'll come off. But Ericsson is capable of making these passes as well. But more importantly is when we do get the ball, it doesn't have to be just like 1-2 passes on the break. It's like get the ball and break. Yeah, and actually retain it and build up some possession, build up some confidence that way, keep the ball off of City. So I think and Casemiro, like, you're going to this game. I think you should be going to this game with, maybe we can obviously we're gonna be countering. We will be countering 100%. But you gotta be going to this game thinking, we can get a draw. Let's break them up. Let's break it up. Let's frustrate them. McTominay's been in good form. I'm not saying drop him. But
so no, I think one of those two have to start. Casemiro, McTominay, preferably Fred for me. But if I had to pick,
it's not anymore. Fred's. No,
I know that, but I do like the fact that he's dropping Ericsson a bit back to be able to hit those long balls. So I think he hit them better.
I think it's more importantly is linking the play. It's not even just
skipping a line. I think it's skipping a line with a pass,
like into Bruno, and I get that. I do get that, and I would say for most matches that's what we've been doing.
But not for this match.
I'm not saying it's something like I'm not gonna be at all surprised if it's the same lineup that we've seen since the tide has changed and since we've been picking up results. All right, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying this match, like I think frustrating them City offensively, and breaking up play as much as possible should be the most important thing. And Casemiro can lick the play too.
Is Elanga starting?
No. What?
So who are the wingers?
I think Rashford's going to be healthy for this match.
But who's the forward then? Rashford's the forward.
No, Rashford, Sancho, and...
Oh, Sancho, right?
Yeah.
And Anthony, right?
Yeah.
And Bruno up down. I think it's going to be Ericsson with... I don't know if it's going to be Casemiro. Out of the 3, I would choose Casemiro then Fred.
Well, of course you would, and especially like for like a... Is this how you... But like, do you take away McTominay's, improved performances and going to him in the Arsenal match as well, right?
Yeah, I know, but he's so clumsy, and City's players are so crafty. Like a yellow early in the first half,
No, probably happen. He has 4 yellows and 5 starts this year. Totally. 6 appearances.
And you're gonna have to sub him.
How's that suspended? When does that kick in?
Probably next yellow. 5 yellows is the.
Well, there you go. I mean, that could be the end of him. Like that could be that next yellow. Very well could be not the end. Like he'll definitely get used, but
might lose
the trust. That could be like you are now the Europa League guy. Because it's only a matter of time for Casemiro takes that spot. I'm sorry. Like I know I've really cut into McTominay in the past, and I'd say justifiably so. But he's been better, and he deserves to start. And I would be looking at starting both.
Yeah, we'll see. What do you have for a scoreline? You being hopeful or doubtful?
I'm being hopeful.
Or very optimistic.
I'm definitely being hopeful. I would say so because we even spoken Holland. Okay, what about shutting down Holland? So Joe messaged me. So he's like,
no one has an answer on this team.
This is our suggestion. What Varane and Martinez? Could you argue are the best pairing in the Prem right now?
In the Prem?
Mm-hmm. You're thinking about it, so they're up there. So like, it's not to say there's no answer for him, and it's not to say that Martinez pocketed him last year in the Champions League, pocketed him
on a far.
I understand that.
or an inferior team. He has a better team giving him better service now.
I understand that. I know. But I'm saying like it's not saying that this is.
You think that's not in Haaland's mind either? Okay, this guy thinks he can shut me down. All right, I'll show
with the help of Varane as well.
Then you're leaving everyone else open. Then you're leaving everyone else.
No, I'm not saying double team him. I'm not saying double team him. Actually,
there's gonna be a lot of attention.
This is okay. So I was like, this is really dicey. Like I don't really know how you can even possibly do this. Someone suggested me. He's like, this is what we do with Haaland. He might have been drunk. He's on holiday right now. Actually, he had to then. Let Haaland, like, give Haaland space, and like when he's not on the ball, like, give him space, and just make sure whoever's on the ball is doubled, or and whoever's the primary. So De Bruyne, obviously, your wingers, like, they're getting closed down, and I'm like,
you'll be running a lot of the games, and eventually they'll get the ball to Haaland.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. But I honestly think. I think we can control him.
I think it's gonna appear like you're gonna control him,
and then all of a sudden,
and he might not get a goal or assist, but City are gonna score 3 because he's getting so much attention, and everyone else is gonna open up for him. The gut feeling this is a Foden game.
Foden loves a big game.
I think this is a Foden game. I think he gets a goal and assist, 2 goals, something like that.
He loves a big
City game. Are scoring 3. And Manchester United are scoring 1. So I'm going with the consensus score.
Okay.
I don't see that.
I'm going to go 1-1.
Hopefully it is.
I think we're going to, I think, do I truly believe it deep down? Maybe no. But I don't think we're conceding 3 times. I don't. And, much like, we were kind of discussing, and you were saying, like, Southgate, Mourinho, in terms of their counterattacking prowess and their tactics. Ollie had so much success.
But it's always Tango's not going to play a counter. He's going to play.
That's what we've been playing counterattack.
Not really. Yes, you've been playing it. No, you guys are moving the ball
against Arsenal. It was especially that second half, especially at like right when Ronaldo came on and they tied it. It was all counter. And I'm saying it's true. We are moving the ball, but against top opponents. It's been a lot of counterattack based. Look at our second goal against Liverpool. Just broke their high line. If City get caught out, it could get ugly. And this is against a manager who doesn't want to play this way in the long run, but knows how to, and he's going to be more proficient at it. We could catch him out. We could,
but I think you might just be better not breaking them down by like breaking a line early and then quick attack. I don't really consider that a counter. I find it like just a fast build up, right? So counters always do have fast build, but it's like I think you're gonna look for a certain matchup and then have a set play. So it might be like switch to 1, wait till this person comes out of position, and Eriksen hit this ball across, create the 2-on-1 over here. Either take the space that they give you, or quick 1-2, swing it in. Early cross. You never know, but overall, this is gonna.
I think it's gonna be a good Sancho game. I think it's gonna be a good game.
I hope United win, or it's a tie, or at least an exciting game. But
yeah.
I want it to be a decent Premier League race this year. That's all.
I think we're gonna get it. I do. Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Reach out, and we'll happily get back to you.
We'll say goodbye to international football until the World Cup.
Until the World Cup, like that's a welcome break.
Yeah,
that's a break. But you know what? Again, ask me in a few years, but the UEFA Nations League may be my favorite international tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely time to end this pod.
Okay,
that's for sure.
See ya.
With that bike block on.
Yes.